Hello, good day to everyone. So today we will continue our study on the divine principle. Now we will study the three stages of life. This is a principle of God that He planned of how our life unfolds. Just like our physical body goes through the three stages of growth of life, which is for our physical life to grow from formation growth to completion stage, our life also as a whole, like also has to pass through the three fundamental stages of life. These three stages of life, these three stages of life is life in the womb and life on earth and life in the spirit world. So these are the three stages of our life. First, we stay in our mother's womb for 9 months. So during these 9 months, we receive all the elements needed by our body from the umbilical cord of the mother. So the mother gives us all the food or the needed elements for our body, for us to grow within those period of 9 months, and we are floating and we are protected by the warm liquid in our mother's womb. So our environment is liquid. So during that time, we receive all the elements needed through the umbilical cord, and we also listen to the voices of our parents, the muffled sound of the loving voices of our parents while we are in the mother's womb. And inside the mother's womb, we may think like, what will be my life when I come out of this womb? I think I can feel that there must be some life over there, but I'm not sure what it would be like. So, if I come out from my mother's womb and my umbilical cord is cut, I might not be able to survive. Diba ganon? Sometimes ganon. So, what shall I do? I don't have any more nutriments from my mother. So, the baby might think like that. But in reality, to be born to earth, to come out to the earth is like graduation of the our graduation day of the 9 months preparation for the physical world. So life in the physical world is life in the womb is a preparation for our life on earth. So the first stage of our life is in the womb. So we are protected by the womb. And then the next life is on the earth. So the mother earth, actually, after we graduate from this first stage of life, pupunta na tayo sa mas malaking mundo. Diba yung earth? The earth is full of trees, flowers, and we can explore the whole earth and experience different nature, different people while we are exploring the earth. So that is the reality, that is the way God had planned our life to unfold. Na maibanganak tayo, kala natin mamamatay na tayo dyan, di na tayo makasurvive. Yung pala, God had prepared an earth na mas malaki na yung Mother Earth. The Mother Earth will give food to our physical body. So that is how is our life unfolds. So that is the principle of God. Alam niyo ba, yung minsan, we really have to understand why we are studying the principle. Why do we study the principle? Kasi, para maintindihan natin, bakit ganyan ang ginagawa ng Diyos? Diba? Last time, sabi natin, bakit hindi na lang mawala lahat ng masasama at saka maging kingdom of heaven na kaagad, diba ganun? Diba, sa last time we were talking about the portion of responsibility of man, that is the principle of God also. So, if we understand the principle of God, we can also understand bakit ganun yung nangyayari sa buhay natin, bakit ganun ang buhay natin, bakit ganito yung nangyayari sa mundo. Because, if you understand the principle, kasi hindi natin nagawa yung portion of responsibility natin, yung mga ganun, di ba? So, dito din, we are studying this principle of the 3 stages of life. Because this is how God intended us to live. Kapares din ng mga tao, kunwari gusto mo maintindihan yung isang tao, kung bakit ganun ang ginagawa niya, bakit ganyan ang aksyon niya, bakit ganun ang desisyon niya, bakit yun ang pinili niyang trabaho niya, or bakit. Kasi, meron siyang principle na sinusunod. So, if we know the principle of that person, we can understand bakit. Maski parang hindi na siya sumasali sa normal, for example, tingin natin sa kanya abnormal, ganun. Pero kasi meron siyang principle na sinusunod, ganyan din ang God. Meron kasing sinusundang principle ang God, kaya ganito yung buhay natin. Kaya that's why we are studying this principle. Okay, so now let's look at our life in the physical world. In the physical world, our environment, we are protected by the atmosphere of the earth, by the air, and we can live here 90 to 100 years. So, what is the importance of this physical world? Just like when we are in the womb, we receive all the nutrients from this womb of our mother, no, para mabuhay tayo. Similarly, the whole world, the whole earth is created to give all the nutrients needed by our body. And at the same time, while we are on earth, we are to grow not only physically but also spiritually. So let's just read what is written here, okay? What we can see and experience in the physical realm after birth is beyond anything we could imagine while in the tiny womb. The earth is so huge. I am free to explore this entire earth, experience people and nature. Just like in the womb, while we are on earth, it is critical that we receive the proper spiritual and physical nutrients and grow spiritual and physical maturity. Without developing a relationship with God and an ability to give and receive love, we will not be able to function and live in the spiritual realm the way God meant us to live. So developing our ability to give and receive God's love, God's true love, with the 4 types of love. We have already discussed these 4 times. 4 kinds of love. So, kung bata pa tayo, we have the children's love na selfish love. And we go to have the siblings love, which is mutual love. And then we go higher to the husband and wife love, which is conjugal love. And then, finally, we could grow to have that parental love, which is similar to God. So, if we have that, we practice the give and receive of God's true love while on earth with the 4 types of love, is as critical as developing our lungs in the womb prior to being born. So, meaning, we have to develop our love lungs. We have to develop our love lungs. Our love lungs should be fully developed and functional before we pass on from this physical world. The Bible teaches us to love God with all our heart, soul, and might. It also teaches us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. In Galatians 6:7-10, Paul wrote, "Do not be deceived, God is not mocked, for whatever a man sows, he will also reap it." So, if we have done our responsibility to develop our spiritual life or spiritual self here on earth, that is to develop our love, to develop our love from selfish, mutual, conjugal, and then to parental love, then we can reap that when we go to the spirit world. For he who sows for his flesh will of the flesh reap corruption, but he who sows in the spirit will of the spirit reap everlasting life. Okay, so this is very important that we really have to use our physical life to develop our spiritual self, which is to develop our love. So, sabi dito, and let us not grow weary, for while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household, especially for those of the household of faith. The Bible is clear that whatever we sow during our lives on earth will be reaped in our lives in the spirit world. So it's very important we understand that our physical life is a preparation for our glorious life in the spirit world. So when we go to the spirit world, is similar, no? While we are on earth, we don't know what will our life be. But because we are studying that principle of God, we at least we can prepare well so that we can live well in the spirit world. So this is how God created humankind, how God created humankind's life to unfold from the womb to the physical world to the spirit world. So, we need really ang importante dito, maintindihan natin na while we are on the physical world, we have to prepare our life for the spiritual world, especially our love lungs. And that can be developed in the family. Actually, while we are in the physical world, we need to experience the love of God in the family, developing from child to sibling to mutual to parental love. So when we go to the spirit world, because why? Because the atmosphere in the spiritual world is love. God is love. So if we have developed our love lungs while on the physical world, then we can breathe properly in the spirit world. Imagine if a child cannot develop the lungs while in the womb, pagdating niya dito sa earth, makahinga ba siya? Blue baby ang tawag sa kanya doon, blue baby. Nangingitim siya paglabas niya kasi hindi na-develop yung kanyang lungs. Hindi siya makahinga. Ganun din dito, pag hindi natin na-develop yung love lungs natin while we in the physical world, then when we go to the spiritual world, we cannot breathe for eternity. Imagine for eternity. Pagdating natin sa spiritual, hindi ka makahinga forever. How kind of life is that? Diba? So, we have to understand very, very clearly what is the full purpose of the preparation for this. What is the purpose of life in the physical world is a preparation for the spiritual world, so that we can live eternally with God in joy and happiness in His kingdom. So these are the 3 stages of life that God intended man to live by. This is the principle of God. And we really need to understand the principle. And if we follow this principle of God, then we can live properly. We can have a beautiful life for eternity. This is for eternity. This is our eternal life. Kaya nga sabi ko sa una, this topic, it is very related to our future life, to our eternal life, and how to grow spiritually and what we should do while we are on earth, so that when we go to the spirit world, we can reap what we sow on earth. Okay, so that's all. Have a nice day and God bless all of you.